What's going on, everybody? Good morning. So grateful to be here with you on this Friday, non-farm payroll day. Some good questions in the comments, and what a smile y'all bring to my face. So happy to be here with you all. Greg, by the way, Greg is asking what my thoughts on Bitcoin meets banking, right? Allowing now that U.S. banks to custody Bitcoin. You saw yesterday JP Morgan, who weeks ago was just bad-mouthing Bitcoin and crypto, all of a sudden hired a new head of desk of digital assets, getting into the sector even more fully. Listen, who's the lady out of Wyoming starting Avante Bank? Kathleen Long. If you just search Kathleen Long and Pomp, she was on his podcast, and she said she's an expert when it comes to something like this by far. And she said that she thinks this is way bigger than anybody thinks or is paying attention to. I think that you should watch that podcast in order to get the best information and a little bit more clarity. There was something else that I did want to take a look at over here before we start getting into it all. Oh, it was the jobless numbers. The jobless numbers and my thoughts on that. We'll start there. This morning. And TikTok, right? Couple of things going on. Listen, my thoughts on TikTok, by the way, are, listen, I mean, could you use Facebook in China? No, you can't use Facebook in China, right? When China opens up their country to all U.S. companies, not just Facebook, there's a long list, including Amazon, etc., etc. Once U.S. companies are allowed to operate in China, by all means, you're welcome here in the United States. And until then, I could care less. I feel bad for those who have made or trying to make a living on TikTok. I forget her name. There's some young girl out of New York who's just moved over to Los Angeles. Last I checked, or last I heard, she had over 50 million TikTok followers. That's a shame. That's a casualty. But you know, whatever. I don't feel any I don't feel any loss whatsoever for the Chinese not being able to operate in the United States when the Americans can't operate inside China. Aside from that, whether or not, I mean, I think it's really silly if Microsoft were to buy the US, including, Australia and a few other countries, TikTok rights, because if you're paying attention, Facebook, you remember when Facebook took stories from Snapchat? They basically tried to buy Snapchat. The founder of Snapchat wouldn't sell out. So Instagram went ahead. I say Facebook. Facebook owns Instagram. Instagram went ahead and started using stories, a Snapchat feature, and it made Snapchat irrelevant. If you noticed last week or this week, Facebook launched a TikTok clone on Instagram. So I think it would be pretty silly for Microsoft to go ahead and purchase it. Either which way, and same with Google. That's right. Google can't operate inside China as well. And that's my thoughts on that. All right. But Chinese never they're not forced. They don't have to sell it. Microsoft would be silly to even buy it. Facebook already cloned it. There's a lot more users on Instagram than there are on US TikTok anyway. And they're not forced to sell. They don't have to sell, but they can't operate inside the United States, just as US companies can't operate inside China. And that's just the way it is. So here we go. By the way, I want to talk about this. This is unrelated to us, but Google recently announced career certificates, which would cost $300. You can complete in 6 months. They consider it the equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's degree. When you become, these are future jobs, data analyst, project manager, UX designer at Google. Colleges are becoming and will become obsolete. You can learn way more on YouTube and through podcasts than you could through a university these days. Whether or not you want to hear that, that's my belief. I do want to talk about this over here. If you're not familiar with either of these two, Bill Fleckenstein or Mark Cordes, forgive my pronunciation, Mark Cohades, forgive my pronunciation. I do have that a learning disability. I can't sound out words. I had to learn to read by memorization, and that's why, Spanish is difficult. But either which way, both of these are famous. Both of these are legends, and they're legends for being short sellers. They're legends for being short sellers. Both of these people right now are saying in this market right now, it is impossible to short the market. Shorting is extremely dangerous. These are the legends. Now, I don't think anyone in here, I think anyone in here has gotten the memo and understand that you can't short these markets, as it's been forbidden now, going on for more than a couple of months, right? As the markets go up. Listen, these are, I'm not an expert when it comes to short selling. These guys are legends. These guys, we looked at also Sven from North Grumman Trader and also Raoul Powell, who's extraordinarily bearish on the market. And both of them are like, you can't short the market. Stop trying to short the market. All right, let's look at the S&P 500 over here. By the way, great morning. Brad's expression has become my new favorite expression. Instead of good morning, it is definitely great morning. I was thinking the same, Dr. Loco. This weekend, were we going to see a new leg up on Bitcoin? I was thinking the same. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. Just don't short, Sven has been shorting. Well, he's on record on Real Vision on a video that was released 3 weeks ago saying it is impossible to short this market. So if he's shorting and yet he's going on to Real Vision and saying it's impossible to short this market, I don't know about that. That seems very contradictory. So what are we looking at? See, I'm going to focus right here on this resistance line right over here. Do you see where I had this resistance that we looked as our take profit level over here? And then I'm going to move this up now. Why am I moving up? Well, we see the new resistance is over there. If I come over here, do you see this is where we peaked in? Watch. I'm moving it up between that resistance and that support right now, because that's where the market made and is focused on its new support. All right. I'm happy with my first one because that was the smart place to go ahead and get neutral. right? But you could see why I'm making that adjustment, because I'm always adjusting to what the market's showing me, right? They are guidelines, and they provide great guides over here. So where are we looking this morning? Non-farm payroll, we got to talk about it. It was, right? Trump had, by the way, signal and noise, we talk about it often. Often when Trump says something, it's not noise, it is signal. Trump ahead of time said this was going to be a big number. That's all relative. To me, it wasn't really a big number. We'll talk about that in a second. Trump also said that the third quarter GDP, he said this going back about 4 weeks ago, was going to be big. It was going to be really big. He said it was going to be like over 20%. They're already projecting over 20% now. There's a difference between signal and noise. You have to learn what to pay attention to. Carlos, we'll talk about miners. Well, I'll talk about miners really second before I go back into my flow of thought. Listen, if you are involved in the miners, you better be an expert. It is highly speculative, highly risky, and for me, that's not my forte. I'm going where there's high probability trades and where there's a lot of clarity. I don't know anything about it. If you're focused in there, you better be an expert, or you better be using a small amount of speculative money and be prepared to lose it. All right, numbers. You could see over here, this doesn't get any bigger, but you could see over here that the print was better than expectations, but not as big as last month. It kind of makes sense if you think about the rise of the COVID cases last month in the United States. We were looking at record cases. Some states extraordinarily bad. I do believe we've turned the corner in California and Florida, and I sure do hope so. But so should we see a trend going upwards as the cases come down? Yes, until we get to some place in the fall, early winter, when these cases start exploding again, or maybe not exploding, but we start seeing spikes. If we start seeing spikes in specific regions, those specific regions go to lockdown. The jobs are never coming back. The jobs are never coming back. You could see the Federal Reserve is leaning now more towards the jobless rate as some type of indicator. And as long as they remain elevated, I forgot the number, whether it's above 9 million people out of work. Until they get below there, they're going to try to run this as hot as possible. It's never going to happen. We are looking at UBI coming to replace for that. That's neither here nor there. This is the last thing that I do want to talk about here. And this is really important, actually. Check it out. When you're in a nice trade, right? Think about precious metals right now. Think about silver. Think about gold. Think about Bitcoin. When you're in a nice trade, great entry, solid plan, well thought out target, and you're getting that itch to tap out, right? Take profits early. Remember, I remember what that old man told me on the NYMEX floor. Hey kid, if you want to take the train to California, you don't get off in Chicago. You got to ride the trade. Don't knock it out. In my opinion, the precious metals, we're just beginning over here. You see silver pulling back today. Is it time to lean in? Well, how much of a pullback do we have off this resistance? You can see our 29.50 resistance is where we're rejected, right? What is that, like a 2% pullback? Is that a 2% pullback? Oh my goodness, what am I talking about? What's going on over here? That's an 8% pullback. That's a 7% pullback. Hey, a 7% pullback on silver. Are you buying? I would buy. I would buy. I'm sleeping overnight. I need some type. I really sincerely do. You heard me say it before. I need some type of script that allows me to go ahead and lean in here when overnight gold or silver is down. You know, silver's down 7 or 15%, both level, and gold down 3 to 5. So silver off. When silver's off 7.5% off its high, for me, that's a place to feel comfortable leaning in at any time. The support right now, by the way, is about 12%, 11.8% off. Levels to lean in. That's interesting. I didn't expect that. Yeah, they just pulled back right now off that resistance, right? Natural behavior off the resistance, being rejected so far by the resistance, but being bought up pretty quickly. Once again, let's look over here at gold. Same thing. I imagine that's a 2 or 3% pullback. I didn't realize that they pulled back that far, not even 1.6. All right, so DXY, you can see is pretty nicely bid this morning over here on the nice numbers. And that's one of the, going back over here, this is a week ago, we had those nice big gains. It's the biggest gain since. We're looking at 2 sessions in a row of nice gains on the dollar, but we're still consolidating, right? It is Friday. I believe it was, I forgot who said it earlier in the session, but I did take note of it when they said today's non-farm payroll day. There are no new positions to be had. Of course there's not, but we're here together and I'm excited for it. So, boom. No, James, right? So if you don't, third party risk, if you don't own the physical, you don't own it, right? But is that the only way? Only buying physical coins and silver? No. You could trade the paper as well. You could trade the paper as well for sure. Jim was telling me about the risk as far as, silver backed by basically JPM, and then you have gold by HSBC. HSBC is an enormous risk. Think about that. So on the paper, I don't know. I don't know, but perhaps silver is the better or less risky trade over there. This is still consolidating over here. We're still consolidating over here. You can see that. This is where, I forgot when it was. I think it was down over here when we said we've entered that consolidation. Until you break and close above this trend line over here, the consolidation continues. If you do break this trend line, I think we put a leg up, but I think that leg will be sold. That's my personal opinion. And until we break up or down, is it best to be on the sidelines? It's August. Boom. You must be listening to someone else because I haven't heard that since. Stu, by the way, just get a quick overview of the calendar, why everyone's here together. Thanks for being here this morning. If you're happy to be here, please go ahead, smash that like button. This is the stupidest comment I've ever heard in my life. I've been watching your channel since March, and you've always been bearish, talking about why or how the markets will crash. If someone just invested and not listened to all your noise, they're good. That's the stupidest comment I've ever heard in this whole, since we've been live streaming since November. I don't know what else to say, how else to react to that, right? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Who is this? Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't like to use words like you're an idiot, but you're an idiot. Freaking idiot. So excuse me. I did. I blocked him. It's all good. That was the stupidest thing I ever heard. All right, let me talk about what's going on next week over here on this little count. This is just a guide here. This is just a guide here. Ethan, I'm keeping it hot. I didn't mean to even use a word like that. I would never say that. Well, I would never say it in front of my kids. So I would try not to say it in front of you, but whatever. He brought a smile to my face, though. He brought a file to my face. That wasn't like me being triggered. That was me kind of having fun. By the way, so for sure Monday, you will not hear from me on Monday, all right? Only because we're traveling on Sunday. I've been focused on making sure I take vitamin D to keep my immune system up, right? Vitamin C I've been loading up on the last couple of days and will continue to do so. I think obviously that's the best, safest thing I could do while traveling, right? And what else did I wanted to say? Yeah, but anyway, any prayers are appreciated that myself and the family are safe. I do appreciate that. We're traveling on Sunday, so on Monday you will not hear from me. Okay. Now, this is over here on the 10th. On Monday the 10th, there will be no update for me. Now, I will be touching base with you. I don't know what that will look like or what time of day, but I will be touching base each one of these days with an uploaded video. Okay. And I have no idea what the weekend will look like. And I do know that on Tuesday, you will not be hearing from me again. Okay. So on these 2 days, you will not be hearing from me. I will be live streaming the following Thursday and Friday. And why it says no schedule updates this whole week, you will be hearing from me I don't know. That doesn't mean that you won't be hearing from me. Only these 2 days you will not be hearing from me. Then I will keep you all regularly updated. If anything's occurring in the markets, if anything's occurring on the markets that I should be checking in with you, I will be checking in with you. There's no rest assured. So dollar, it's not nice to see, but it's nice to see the dollar putting up some nice days over here. This is going to be an interesting place to watch. I want to check out the euro US dollar with you in just a moment, and as well as other dollar pairs. So if we had really bad numbers, are bad job numbers good for the markets because that means more stimulus? Yes. In my opinion, yes. But we didn't see bad jobless numbers, right? We saw better than expected jobless numbers. I think he was trolling. Either that or some people are just twisted. Some people are really just twisted. That's true. It's hard to read. All right, Eric. So just the only thing I want you to take from that is this Monday you will not hear from me, and the following Tuesday you will not hear from me. All right. I don't know. Vitamin C has never done that for me. All right. Let me keep going over here, everyone. Let me keep going. So happy to be here with y'all. As always, big smile on my face. Thanks. Thank you for spending this time with me. 5 minutes equities markets opening. I'm very interested to see whether or not we have any volatility today, or it's pretty much a subdued reaction over here, right? We are now, again, neutral on the equity markets, and we are just waiting. I do hope that this gives us an opportunity to come load up, maybe over here, if that holds. That will be the first opportunity to think about loading up off that middle trend line in the middle of the channel. Otherwise, it's going to be over here off the support at 32.32, as well as that trend line support over there. We'll watch out for both of them. Boom. So we started taking this new, vitamin D. What are those numbers you're throwing out, Greg? Mine says D3. All right, I'm with you, Greg. I got in my hand exactly where you are. Feel good about that. And the vitamin C we're taking actually all comes from different, I believe, vegetables. Got capsules of all these vegetables with the vitamin C. So I'm pretty into that. I have a lot of money on the sidelines with no loss, and am I safe to invest in oil with a 1-year timeline? Oil seems like the least attractive thing to invest in. Dude, oil seems like the least in this environment commodity to invest in. Whoa, the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx. There will be no live sessions next week. Now, that's not to say, by the way, I haven't gotten a haircut since I went down on lockdown. I forgot the day that I imposed quarantine on the family, which was before, obviously, Mexico went on lockdown. It was around the time the States went on lockdown. I haven't got a haircut since. But nevertheless, I don't know if I'll go live. I'll go live without charts, but I might be checking in with y'all up in the mountains. We'll see what happens. Yeah, big shout out. How about this? I was born in the Bronx, and I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a New York Mets fan, right? Moved to Long Island when I was 3 years old. Thanks, Kips. The hair looks good now. It might not look so good, in a couple of weeks from now. Vitamin D equals tacos. Why am I in Mexico? Where are you at? Why are you there? Boom, we got a lot of people from the Bronx over here today. Yes. Greg's all over it. Thank you, David. Appreciate that so much. All right. Jordan, did you talk about Chainlink? So, by the way, do you guys mind if I take a deviation here for a moment just to talk about these altcoins? First of all, it's a very small position that I have into Together. Ethereum, Link, Chainlink, and Tezos. Now, Chainlink, I understand the use case over here is smart contracts that connect different blockchains together, right? And they got a lot of partnerships. Whether or not it's here to stay in this bull market here, I think it's definitely going to go bull. I am thinking of actually or contemplating as this thing breaks to new all-time highs, maybe getting out of Tezos. I'm thinking of maybe getting out all of my altcoins and just going into staying in Bitcoin, by the way. But it's a small speculative position. And anyone who's trading using our support and resistance with the help of trend lines, following price alone during this alt season, trading the alts, they're going to do extraordinarily well. There are absolutely huge moves to be had. Ethereum, I'm going to keep holding her until my target's a hit. Listen, these are highly speculative. All of these altcoins, meaning everything outside of Bitcoin, is highly speculative. Be careful. You can make a lot of money. You should only be using a small amount of capital for speculation. Roman. The Mets. It's hard to be. It's not easy being a Met fan. It's not easy being a Met fan. Dollar strengthening all pairs, that's for sure. It's kind of getting long. It was really short going into the quarantine, but it's long for me. That's for sure. It's long for me. I'm just giving you a heads up in case I go live. So there was an amazing video I saw about mocking Tesla. Am I a Tesla fan? I'm an Elon Musk fan. How about that? I'm definitely an Elon Musk fan. Beats. Gemma from the Bronx. Yeah, someone doesn't like Elon Musk hitting that thumbs down. Listen, if you're not into innovation and taking risks, that's fine. Yeah, Bronx. Do you think that makes sense living in New York, New Jersey, rise on the coast, and working is allowing you to work anywhere? So, my opinion, by the way, there was someone I saw on Twitter this morning whose Twitter handle was like something like Midtown Office. And he's like, listen, I'm 50-50 if I'll ever go back and work in an office in Manhattan again. The general trend is companies, because now they're allowing that remote work, right? There's less and less need for people to be in urban areas. You're seeing people that are able to already migrate out of the cities. Cost of rent and housing is going down in urban areas. That trend should be continuing, as well as you're seeing select areas outside of the city going up. I have one of my childhood best friends, his sister, upstate New York. She does real estate closings. She said she's never been busier in her life ever since the crisis. All those homes, there's high demand for. I think that continues. It doesn't, I've lived in cities, man, I guess ever since I was like, 20 years old. So, for more than I've lived outside of the city, I've lived in cities, whether it's New York City, San Francisco, or Mexico City. And, I always thought I was a city person, but as I get older and have a big family, more and more, I am definitely attracted to living in a suburban or rural area. And I think that's a trend that's continuing. Is this morning, Andre, so, again, this is not going to change. In my opinion, this is not going to change. Any 7 and then 15% pullback on silver is a place to lean in. You did have over here so far a 7% drawdown, or an 8% drawdown we had over here. Are we gonna come back and retest this area? Sure, I think so. It looks like silver, after hitting into the resistance, that happened a lot quicker than I expected. Did that happen a lot quicker than you expected? Our next target of 29.50, because it happened within days. So now we are bouncing off that resistance, and maybe we're going to be consolidating here for a while. and that would be healthy. If you get another opportunity, another test down here, that's a place to start building a position as well off of this 26, 24 support. That would be an excellent place to look for a resumption off. And just watch those areas, but just drill that into your mind for the foreseeable future. Any 7 to 15% pullback on silver, that's where you're looking to lean in, right? On gold, what are you looking at? 3 to 5% pullbacks, looking to lean in. This is different than our normal swing trading because they're not swing trading assets at this point, in my opinion. These are entering bull markets, and you want to be along for the ride, right? If your destination is California, do not get off in Chicago. We looked at that earlier this morning. Bitcoin, just check it in. It just looks good. Nothing else to say, right? It just looks good. Nothing else to say. This weekend, Dr. Loco, we're going to see a big leg up. I would love to be able to take out this next little bit of trend line resistance above us over here, and take out. I got a little bit of a lagging action over here. Sorry about that. If we are able to regain this trend line over here, that would be awesome. I hope it happens, but nevertheless, it just looks really good. Not much to say. We got kind of like a Friday day. It's like an off day here. There's not much to see or to do. We're seeing the dollar making nice gains over here. U.S. markets just opened, right? But we all know, or I know, what I'm looking for as price comes up into this trend line over here. That's where it becomes interesting to me. I'm looking for a rejection over there. Let's see if that happens or not. So the Chinese, I don't know about that, Chris, and you and many of you know way more than I do because I'm not focusing my attention on any of these individual projects. I'm focused on Bitcoin, right? But I know that the Chinese government, when they're introducing the digital yuan, is doing it on the back of 15 different blockchains, including Ethereum, including Neo. Is Chainlink one of them? Is that the partnership you're talking about, right? Because that's also like saying Ethereum's government. I mean, listen, these blockchains are open, and whoever wants to make use of them can make use of them. So this is, by the way, let's talk about this really second. This is really interesting. I was watching an interview this morning. With someone who works at Barstool. This was on Anthony Pompolono's podcast, and he I don't even know his name. Sorry about that. He worked at Barstool for a long time. If you're familiar with Barstool, you probably know who he is. And he was talking about when he first got into Bitcoin. Yesterday, I was telling you about Tales from the Crypt podcast, the weekly recap. Anyone interested in learning more about Bitcoin, that's a good place to begin. And Marty Bent is the one who, started that podcast. And he used to work at Barstool Sports. Actually, his first two podcasts, I think it was Dave, someone from Barstool. They did the first two podcasts with him launching his podcast. It's a successful podcast. In this interview, he was saying that back in 2017, Marty working at Barstool kept talking about Bitcoin, and got them into Bitcoin. He said that Dave Portney, I don't know how to pronounce that, bought Bitcoin back then, and he's good friends with Marty, so for sure he's well schooled on Bitcoin. He's not jumping on Bitcoin now. He's been involved in Bitcoin. He's now using Bitcoin as an avenue to continue to market, his brand. Right? So just be aware, this guy is brilliant, right? He's absolutely brilliant. He's right now understanding that at this point, equities are the risk to reward is no longer there. And he sees what's happening on Bitcoin. He's using that as an avenue for marketing, and that's brilliant. Ooh. Oh, that would be, and that's why I don't want to give up Chainlink just in case it catches on, right? I don't want to give up Chainlink just in case it catches long. Tezos, I'm probably jumping. Gemma, come on. This is where it's all at. In uptrends, we're just looking to buy off of support and sell off resistance in downtrends. I don't think this is a double bottom. I don't think this is a double bottom. And I do think the timing is everything, right? I think we're coming down here. This is the big test in this area between 91 and call it 90.40. In this area over here, I think that eventually we come test it. Now, my question is this: for those following the DXY, here's what I think is going to happen. It's one of two things, and in this consolidation that we're looking at right now, we either break to the upside or downside. If we break down, then we just look below at that target between 90.40 and 91. But if we break to the upside, what I'm looking at here is this trend line. Let me find a better time frame to illustrate that for you. Right? We have these two trend lines, these breaks. This is a huge technical break. This trend line over here, and then this one. This was the prime trend line. It's lighter right now, just to keep my charts cleaner. But it's actually more important than this bottom one. And if we break it, I'll make the top one then brighter. Now, after breaking down an important trend line, what are we looking for? A retest and a resumption down, right? Now, do you always get the retest after a breakout or a breakdown? No. There are occasions that you do not. I put it at about 5% of the time, it'll run away and you never get that retest and resumption. Now, the whole reason that we wait for that retest and resumption is to give us just a higher profitability trade. Trading a breakout or breakdown is a very low probability trade. Often they're fake breaks, right? That's why our retest and then waiting for the resumption keeps us out of a lot of bad trades. If we break out of this consolidation to the upside, I think that we then target this area over up in here, the break of the trend line, right? So this is the area that will be looking for us to come. It's 94.50. 94.50 in that area right now is where we'll be looking for this breakout over here to take us. And then we'll be watching what happens on that trend line over here. We'll be looking for that rejection. The Subway Series was rough. I remember, Mike, the first time I ever rooted for the New York Yankees was when they were playing Boston. And I wanted them to beat Boston so bad in the playoffs so that they would get to play the Mets in the series. A lot of Cardano fans. There's a lot of people behind that project. Yeah, I've always kept the scruff. When I shave, it's pretty radical. I do shave about once a week, I guess. Enrique. I'm just reading some comments over here. I'm catching up on your comments before we get going over here. There's nothing to do but enjoy today's session, so that's what I'm doing. Jordan, what to do after you finish the course? So it's kind of funny, Rex. I don't mean that. Maybe that's the wrong choice of words. I don't mean that anyway bad whatsoever. But so what I do notice that there are some people. It tends to be people that often choose the monthly option, and they're like, all right, I finished the course. It's not that you're just beginning the course. If you've gone through the modules, the 25 modules, then you've just begun the course. Really pay attention to that module. I put under all in text under the support and resistance module, really where you need to begin the course. Because where you need to begin the course, right? It's a process. If you've watched all the videos, you've just begun. You really need to follow the directions. They're quite lengthy. It really spells out the roadmap and the key to success. A lot of people are experiencing great success with the course. Some people outperforming me on a monthly basis, which is great. Some people outperforming it on a monthly basis. Those people definitely are after nailing down Forex, moving over into the precious metals, moving over into crypto. But you have to start there, and that's where it begins. I don't. If I was in Europe, I would. Some people were saying, I saw a tweet where people were saying, I feel bad for all my American friends because right now Bitcoin just continues to plummet. make great gains versus our fiat currencies. I don't follow it, but of course it's different because that's priced into euros. So is this Mike is asking, is this the right place to get info? I'm not day trading, more investing. Great question. So absolutely, there are a lot of people, and you could see all the comments same comments I see on the YouTube videos, who have been following the channel, whether it's for 2 or 3 months. Have a lot of them were kept shorting the markets. They got out of that. A lot of them have started positioning themselves into gold, silver, and Bitcoin, and a lot of them are super well positioned. Those are all long-term investments. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't think there's a better place to get that overall market view of the general direction of where the markets are heading than what we do here day to day. Those are for long-term investors, right? Now, for traders, right, the course is the place to be, right? And as we go through, there's no need to do it today because it's Friday. We're not looking to take new positions here on FX, right? But by the way, I do want to look at what's going on here with Japanese yen strengthening it up today. Got to pay attention to that. It's been a while since we've seen the yen strengthen. So I'm going to go through some yen pairs a little while. Let me just pull that up over here. But absolutely, if you're an investor, this is where you want to be, so that if we do get any type of signal, like if we get a big technical break here on the indices, and then I'm like, all right, now is the time to attack to the downside. Everyone get neutral. Anyone that is involved in any positions, it's for sure. It's a huge asset. Ooh, Adam and Eve. Let's check it out on the DXY. So an Adam and Eve, you get like this. You got this like quick V over here. Hold on, boom, and then a little more rounding. I think it's a really good call, Max, on a swing trade 8 hour. On a swing trader's perspective, that's possibly an Adam and Eve bottom over there, for sure. That's a great spot, Max. That's right. That's what I do. Well, I actually invest for wealth and trade for profit. Yes, Model 3 Life, unquestionably. The reason that Square continues to climb is 100% because of Bitcoin. Square is the first public company to sponsor Bitcoin developers, just because they want the overall Bitcoin experience to be better. They want the user experience to be better, because the more that as Bitcoin succeeds, Square has basically built their entire future on Bitcoin. Could we also be looking at a bear flag? So, I mean, JC, to answer your question, the way that I see this, and I do see the Adam and Eve possibly, but I just see is what I have. I keep things very simple, right? And I have this area that we're within. Why we're within there, we're consolidating, and whichever way we break out, that's the next leg. So there's a difference between those who are looking to swing trade and those who are looking to invest. If you're an investor, I don't think you want to look at silver for the foreseeable future. Just hold and enjoy the show. Just get some popcorn and enjoy the show. If you are a trader, right, into that 29.50, of course, that was the place to take profit. No, I don't think you need to push that over there, by the way. Once we clear 29.50, let's say you never get a chance to get position back in. Let's say you took profit. You saw us coming into that resistance. You saw that this was going straight up. Things don't go straight up forever. You took profit. All right. If you don't get a chance to re-enter and you break this resistance over here at 29.50, right? You look for that retest and resumption, and that's the next place to enter the trade. Aside from that, you could be looking to scale back into your trade, right? Over here and over here. Why here? Because that's a 7% drawdown on silver. This is a 15% drawdown, and the support. Both of those areas you'd be looking to reestablish a position. Yeah, that's where they get it from. They actually use the intro to their podcast as the Tales from the Crypt when we were kids. Yeah, I mean the guy is smart. He's a great marketer. I don't know if anyone saw the interview with the president. That's pretty cool that he was able to do the interview with the president. I saw him on some type of financial, if you quote unquote financial news show, right? If you consider things like CNBC and Bloomberg Financial, and the interviewer asked him something about sports, and he's like, "Are you kidding me? How could you disrespect me like that? I've called the market better than any of these traditional experts, and you're asking me about sports?" And he walked out of the interview. He's amazing. What exchange do you use for equity in Bitcoin? There are so many different. I mean, equity markets. By the way, I'm not a fan of whatsoever. Zero, 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 zero. The only company that actually I've been promoting this whole year and going back pre-crisis, right, has been Square. And why? Because they put their fate on Bitcoin. But no, I'm not a fan of exchanges. I have like a really Stone Age account at TD Ameritrade that I use to manage, retirement accounts. I don't even know how to place orders there. It's so frustrating. You know, could you imagine? I have difficulty placing orders on the platform. It's such a terrible experience. Bitcoin, you have limited exchange, a limitless amount of options. Just you have to figure out where you are locally. The only thing that I've been using is BlockFi for the past 6 weeks. It's where I go ahead and I've purchased and am now storing any new Bitcoin that I do purchase, and I'm a big fan of it. I'm trying to figure out all your comments over here. Rex, did you ask that twice? Because I don't, I'm confused. Maybe send me an email, Rex, because I just took a couple of minutes to really address that specifically. You have not finished the course. You probably have just begun the course. There's no way if you finish the course, by the way, there's no question, as we're seeing. I'm going to pull this up for you really quick right now. So, all right, these are the goals of the course, right? The first goal, 3 to 5 weeks, is to get someone to turn the corner to profitability. Meaning, within 3 to 5 weeks, you should be trading now at break even or better, right? And is that for everyone? No, that's not for everyone. But for the majority, that's where they fall, right? Some people are able to do it quicker, and some people it takes a little bit longer. The next goal after that, Rex and everybody, is consistently profitable, which is defined as 3 months in a row of a 1% gain average or better, right? Once you hit there, I'm not getting into the specifics of what it takes to do that. That's within the course, right? Once you do there, at that point, you are now increasing your risk up to 1% per trade. You are then automatically already at the ultimate goal of 2 to 3% per month. This is the goal of the course, is to get you to averaging 2 to 3% per month on average. That's an enormous return yearly. What a skill to have. Could you learn that in university in some economics class? Absolutely not, never. What's the tuition for that class? Think about that. Rex, if you're not here, you have not finished the course, right? We're seeing now a lot. I can't put a number on it. We're seeing here traders now graduating from this level. That's exciting, and the more and more that reach here, the happier and happier I'm going to be. So Rex, until you're here, you cannot say that you have finished the course. I think that you're here, Rex. I have a feeling that you're just here. Thank you. That's beautiful to hear. I want you to be in it for the long run. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes. Andre, always the 8-hour time frame. Always the 8-hour time frame. The dollar's oversold, right? And we're looking at silver being overbought. We're looking at gold being overbought, right? And here they are. They're now entering that little period of consolidation, right? Watch what happens up here as we enter that area of resistance. You could see that we've peaked out over here. We've peaked out over here on the 8-hour time frame to break a resistance level. That has to be confirmed on the daily time frame, which means that even if this session, if we peak out over here, that's not a break. That's not a breakout. We have to close on the daily above that level for it to say, all right, we broke out to the upside. I'm just reading some comments. What time frame do you use to use support and resistance? You could go to the playlist on the channel on Forex, and there's a video on support and resistance. But I think it's I use the 8-hour because my eyes are trained as such. I think you should be using the daily time frame to find your support and resistance levels, and then come down to the 8-hour, unless you're able to do it on the 8-hour time frame. By the way, and some people use the weekly, which is great. Whether if you have a support and resistance line on the daily time frame, even if you're looking at the 15-minute time frame, it's the same exact support and resistance level. Jordan, hockey's my favorite sport. I am a New York Islander fan, and it is more difficult being a New York Islander fan than it is a New York Met fan. But ice hockey's my favorite sport. Ice hockey's my favorite sport. I got myself a pair of rollerblades, and I started skating all summer. I made the varsity in 10th grade, the varsity ice hockey team. All my friends who were on JV and I had been skating for years before, they were all on the JV. I'm sorry, it was 11th grade. It was 11th grade. The only kid younger than me was a 10th grader, the son's coach, and he was the son of the coach, and he was way better than me. But I love skating. I love hockey. It's my favorite sport. Would you buy gold or silver? No. Listen, when you're looking at, don't watch the dollar to trade gold and silver. Watch what's happening on the charts here to trade these charts. Okay, you could get the overall feel of the market by looking at, everything as we do. It's very important. You cannot be dialed in unless you're aware of the whole flow of the market. And that's why when the question came up, is this for traders or investors? You cannot invest unless you have the flow of the market. There's a alpha beta. There's a whole bunch of links in the description below to help you. This is a good question for a lot of people, so we'll take a moment here to talk about it, everyone. By the way, if you're here on our last Friday live stream, it's going to be our last live stream for about for a little while, right? That's a Google Calendar. Up until the 20th, this will be our last live stream. If you're here and you want to show some love and you haven't already, please go ahead and smash that like button. Do love seeing those thumbs up flying. If you're not invested into Bitcoin, would I invest to Bitcoin over here, right? So let's pretend that you're new to the channel. You didn't get the break of the bull market. You weren't accumulating going into it. Do you buy over here? There's no question that I would buy here if I was not invested into Bitcoin. At the same time, there's no question that I would be aware that you could experience a 35% drawdown at any time. By the way, right now, a 35% drawdown would take you to where? No. If I had to assign a probability of that happening, by the way, it would be very, very low. The possibility exists. It would be so low. I can't imagine that. By the way, our trend line is 25% below. Is that possible of test of that? That's possible. I don't think that's happened. Do I think that we'll get a test of the trend line break of where we broke out from? That's possible. That's possible. That would be a 17.5% pullback. That would close the CME gap. That's entirely possible. My odds of that happening were probably somewhere around, I would put it at 30%. I don't think that I think the support over here is going to hold. I do think that support's going to hold over here. And if I would put that at greater than 30%, but that's just my opinion. I would buy Bitcoin right here if I didn't have any exposure, and I would be prepared at any point in time as we've entered the bull market for a 30 to 35%. Why do I say 35%? Going back into the last book, I say 30% is where I'm looking to buy, but we've had pullbacks as far as 39% in that last bull market phase. Yep, there's no question about it. What's amazing is that a lot of people during this bull markets are going to lose money. And that's why I've tried to get people into the mindset that the best way to make money during this bull market in Bitcoin is to buy and hold. There's no question about it. Simply buy, get some popcorn, watch what happens here and how we exit, and that's the best thing you can do. If you're trading with leverage on Bitcoin, I think 3x is the maximum anyone should use at any time. The maximum. Ideas on holding FANG and Tesla, which has had a 4x since you bought. I don't know. Gemma, when you ask that question, the first thing, I'm going to look at Tesla in a second. The first thing that comes to my mind is for you to follow what's going on here on the equity markets. This is the point where I think it's time to get neutral. We've already hit there earlier this week, right? It was on right here on the 6th of August when all profit targets were reached. We hit the resistance. It was time now to get neutral. That doesn't mean that I'm bearish on the equity markets or even close to it. That means simply neutral is the better position. The risk to reward here is no longer on your side. As we come back down into this trend line over here, that would be the first place to look for a possible resumption off of it and to get long, or this trend line down over here, this support over here. That's when the risk to reward is in your favor. If you look at Tesla, you can see Tesla continues to consolidate and looks pretty good. But, I don't know that this is like a possible bull flag developing. It's too soon. But I do think that if you had the opportunity to get a test of this trend line and a resumption off of it, then Tesla becomes attractive on a risk to reward basis. Now, if you're holding Tesla and you're up well on your investment, so you might want to be looking then at, for example, the Nasdaq. You mentioned the FANG also, so we'll look at the Nasdaq 100 in 1 second, okay? And do you want to put in now a place, Gemma, where you should be locking in profit if technically we broke down, you'd want to get out, right? Because I do expect this fall that we're making higher highs than we are today in the equity markets. We have an election coming up. We have a lot more stimulus loaded and ready to run over here. I think that we're going to see higher highs on the equity markets. It's just not at this particular time is the place to get involved. So it's not that you should exit your position. You don't want to exit your position until you're proven wrong, right? Let's look at the Nasdaq over here. This was the last breakout we followed on the Nasdaq. So if we traded below, right? If we traded below this area at that point, right? Then you might want to say, all right, now things are looking, let's call it less good, if that's even a word or that's proper English. That's not looking as attractive any longer. On the Nasdaq, that's going to be breaking. On the S&P, it's going to be breaking down this level. Until those things are happening, Gemma, until here on this channel, we're like, all right, we've had some technical breaks, and now we've turned bearish on the markets. I don't see a reason to get out of Tesla if you're holding such a great position. And this right now, as it stands, that's consolidating after a leg up. That's bullish, and we're looking for the next leg up. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. So I'm reading the comments. That's the only reason why I'm quiet. Plus, I'm in no rush over here with y'all this morning. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for that affirmation over there. I'm under the same impression, but it doesn't mean my impression's correct. I think that this is I think this is the ideal place for investors. And by the way, all of that value investing nonsense doesn't work right now. It doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. Now, will we ever enter? It's a great skill set to have. If you're a fan of the markets, you should study value investing. Can't Slim, by the way, anyone who's really into equities should be a student of. I think it's for the founder of Investors Business Daily. Is it Bill Williams? Is it Bill Williams? Who Can Slim is absolutely something you should study. That's right. This is for trading, and hence the name of the channel, Joel. Right? Conquer trading and investing. I'm new. I'm a new investor, and what do I need to buy now? And what currency? This is a fantastic question. If you're a new investor, the only thing that you should be doing is subscribe to the channel and just spend some time with us. And you're going to have, after a period of time, and I don't know whether that period of time is 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 2 months, you're going to have great clarity on how you should be invested. And that's going to come from your own, from yourself. By following our analysis, by understanding the markets and seeing how clearly we are able to follow what's going on, you're going to understand where you want to be invested. If you're asking anyone where you should invest your money, you're going to lose money. Do not follow what they're saying. Do not do that. That is, just assess where you are. If you're asking the question, that simply means that the most valuable thing you can do with your time and money is observe. Observe. And this is a great place to be observing. Let's check in on the dollar really quick. Coming into the resistance over there. No, no. There's no way I would buy the dollar in this environment. Whether or not we're seeing right here a break of this consolidation on the dollar and leading to a leg up, the trend is down on the dollar. We are looking for further dollar weakness. Thank you. Oh, Miguel entering. That's right. That's right. DXL is in a range. If you're already positioned into Bitcoin, isn't it then not logical to also position into Square? So the only reason that you should position into Square is if you were stuck inside the equity markets. The only reason you should position into Square would be if you were stuck inside the equity markets. And also GBTC, in my opinion, is a place that I'm invested inside the equity markets. Yep. And Reza, you know this. On silver, any 17 to 15% drawdown in this bull market is a place to look building in a position. On gold, less 3 to 5% pullbacks. Joel. So this is a really great question. Joel's asking, when do we know to go short on the DXY, right? So if you were to get rejected here today, do you go short on the DXY? No, it's Friday, right? It's after New York opens on Friday. We're not looking for any new positions. We're not looking for any new positions, right? Reevaluate on Monday. And also you wait for that breakdown out of the consolidation as the high probability trade to go short. If you break out over here, also Joel, as you come into this trend line over here, right? You'd be looking for a rejection. That's a place to get short. You have this trend line over here, a place to get short. And then our last line in the sand over here is going to be this trend line over here, which is not dark right now, which is the prime one, which is the more important one. By the time price is coming up into there, that would be coinciding with this 96.40 horizontal resistance. That's a place to lean in. So you don't want to lean in short right over here on a Friday, even though you're up into some resistance if rejected. All right. Grayscale, their last, I didn't like their last ad campaign. Their last ad campaign was to drop gold. basically gold is really hard and difficult to store. You should invest in Bitcoin. Listen, I don't like the infighting between those that consider themselves to be Bitcoin maximalists and those that consider themselves to be gold bugs. I cannot understand not being a fan of both. If you understand sound money, you understand sound money. So anyone that's attracted to Bitcoin should then be also attracted to precious metals. Anyone that's attracted to precious metals should be attracted to Bitcoin. That depends on many factors. I would say for the average person that Oanda is better than FX Choice, especially anyone with an account size of under $5,000. Oanda is absolutely fantastic. Oanda is also pretty cool because you could connect it directly and trade off of TradingView. But Oanda is phenomenal, and I highly recommend Oanda. I use FX Choice. That was such a great interview. It was a great interview. Rex, we don't have. By the way, I thought I replied to the email. I saw and I will. Unquestionably, Rex is asking about trade alerts. I will be. I saw your message on Twitter. I'll respond for sure. But I thought I sent the response by email yesterday, and I can't find it because I was looking for it to find out exactly what I wrote to then respond to the Twitter same question. And I'm not even sure if it was you asked both questions, but there are no trade alerts. I started that I was going to be on TradingView. When I see setups in the afternoon, sending those out to people in 1 to 3 minute videos in order for them to see where I'm focused. That was going back, I guess, back towards January or February. What I learned were then people that were taking the course, instead of achieving the goal of the course, which was able to train them to be able to trade in the markets. And like I said, I have students that are outperforming me now, which is awesome. But the whole idea is if a lot of people were then relying on my trade setups then, and therefore it was not conducive to them learning, it was actually detrimental to their success. So I stopped doing that. I want people to be able to see and learn these setups for themselves. Rex, I know for sure 100% you need to go to the module on support and resistance, and you need to follow the all of the whole strategy and plan laid out in the text below there. That's where you're up to. That's what you need to focus on. Maybe. That's nuanced. There's no hard and fast rule on that. There's no hard and fast rule on whether or not you should use limit orders always or market orders. Yeah, I mean, again, he's a brilliant marketer. He's a brilliant marketer. Do you think someone that smart, when they were buying their but by the way, the person that led him into Bitcoin was, I don't want to say an expert in Bitcoin, but Marty Bent, the host of Tales from the Crypt, he knows a lot about Bitcoin. He comes from a traditional finance background as well. He used to work for an investment bank. This guy, Marty Bent, I use the word expert loosely, but he's an expert. For sure, he's an expert. He knows, when he walks into a room, he knows more about Bitcoin than most other people. Every week, he goes to New York City. He goes to the Bitcoin developers. He doesn't understand what those guys are speaking about, but he's learning, right? He's an expert. And he's the one who taught Davey how to use Bitcoin. He told him the importance of what it means to take control of your own security. He knows exactly where his Bitcoin is. He's a great marketer. And by saying he doesn't know, that's how he got the Winklevoss brothers to come in and show him how Bitcoin works. The kid is brilliant. Well, I think if you're young and you own some SpaceX or Virgin Galactic, again, equity is not my thing, but I mean, that's a speculative investment. And, until they start, regular tourism flights to orbit, to sell it would be ridiculous. That's an asymmetrical bet, meaning you're betting that either you lose all your investment or you have an enormous, 1000x on it, or whatever it would be once they have those regular space flights. But yeah, that's an asymmetric bet, right? That's all or nothing, and you're looking to hold that for the next 20 years, right? Yes, I will try to be much more aware of calling out the levels when I talk about things. Absolutely. Thanks for the reminder. Thumbs up for that. Boomba, start following the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Should you sell out of the SPR? First of all, if you're into an investment, you should know where you got in, where you're looking to get out, and you should not be looking to ask anyone. Now, if you want to, go over the analysis together, you should just be focused on what we've been going over this past week, these past 2 weeks, going back since over here. What is this? The end of July, we put a price target over here, right over here, down a little lower. I just moved that. Let's call it was 32.32 or 33.39. 33.39 was our exit on the equity markets. That was going back a few weeks. That we hit it. In my opinion, yeah, you should be neutral. Could we extend up? Look at last night's video. Could we extend up over here? Of course, for sure. Could we come in and make new all-time highs? Yeah, we're a stone's throw away. But right now, the risk to reward is not there. It was time to take profit, get out, get neutral, wait for the next opportunity to get in. I'm not sure about that. I mean, and again, Marty Benton coming up once again. It's ridiculous. A big proponent of using the Cash App. I mean, Square sponsors him, and I don't know. I've not used the Cash App. People said they had really good experiences. I tried to get KYC'd and they denied me. Maybe that's because I have an IP address coming from Mexico. I don't know, but I don't know. I think the best way to store Bitcoin is offline in a hardware wallet. I mean, I don't know. Not at this point. How about that, Kelvin? Kelvin's asking, would I buy Square? And I mean, not right now. I'm not right now. I'm not going to buy it. Just like I'm not going to buy Tesla right now either. If we have any significant pullback, at that point, maybe. Equities for me right now are very unattractive. Equities are very risky and unattractive for me at this point, at these levels. So what percentage of Bitcoin do I keep on a hot wallet versus cold wallet? So, I mean, the only thing I could say about that is that I have the Bitcoin that I do keep with third parties. Now, that includes things like, for example, BlockFi, that includes FX Choice, and multiple other exchanges. That's spread out across multiple exchanges, also limiting my risk right there, right? But it's spread out versus multiple exchanges. But the safe Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the one that you hold in the hardware wallet. That's right. A 2% return monthly is a 24% return yearly, Dr. Loco. Imagine having that type of skill set. Right? Those that are into FIRE, right? Those that are very frugal, looking to be able to save most of the money that they earn, to be able to be in a position to be able to retire early, right? If you're able to produce a 20-30% year return, you're going to be there. Thanks, Brad. I do appreciate that. More importantly, Brad, Brad took the course as a complete beginner. Brad's a developer. He took the course as a complete beginner, and then he liked it. And, on his own, he reached out to me and he built the website. And I'm grateful for you for that kindness, Brad. Really, really grateful and looking forward to next week very much. That's right. No, Awanda's a fantastic broker. Awanda's phenomenal. Alpha Beta, love the math there. Alpha Beta, love the math. Love the username too. Thank you, Rex. Have a beautiful weekend, my friend. Have a beautiful weekend. So let me just try to embrace this question really quick. I don't know how this session had become a question and answer session, but I have to tell you, this morning as I was making my coffee, I'm out of matcha, but it is reordered. I'm out of matcha, and I get to go pick up my coffee next week, the Blue Bottle coffee. If anyone lives inside the United States and loves coffee, go to bluebottlecoffee.com and order Bella Donovan. You are going to thank me. So you said to grow in the long term your capital at 1% per month. That's the second goal of the course, right? Constantly profitable 1% per month, but you don't trade all your capital, so your return needs to be higher. No. If you're trading, to keep math simple, a $1,000 account, right? And you're looking for that 1% monthly, that's 1% on the $1,000, not on the fraction of that, of the leverage that you're actually using. Nope. Do I think it's, wait, I don't think it's ever smart to take out a loan to make any type of investment. I don't think that's smart. I mean, Bitcoin could go to zero tomorrow, and if Bitcoin went to zero and you have a bank loan out, now you're in debt. That's not a good idea to do. I think it's much more smarter doing whatever you have to do to hustle hard, right? Speaking of hustle, Gary V, right? Follow Gary V on YouTube. The guy talks about what it means to hustle, and he's right? If you're watching Netflix and you're looking for another source of income, you're doing it wrong. You should not watch TV. If you need money to buy Bitcoin, you should not be watching TV ever. All right? You got to be working towards finding out a way to get a source of income and put all that savings then into Bitcoin. It's much better, in my opinion, to put $100 into Bitcoin than it would be to take out a loan to buy Bitcoin. Well, I think the Fed is doing that right now. J. May is asking if I think the Fed will artificially deflate the dollar to prevent an international crisis. I do believe the Fed is doing that right now. There is something that I was looking at this morning that I want to see if I could find real quick and share with you. I would really enjoy that very much. So let's see if I could do that. And at the same time, while I'm waiting for this place to load, for whatever reason, my connection is slow. Ooh, any Canadian team, any Canadian hockey team, you got right there, you have pride, you have tradition. No way. Just being a Toronto, just to say you're a Leafs fan in itself, that's amazing. Yeah, Forex, by the way, is if you're new here, go ahead, Armando, and go slow, hit the subscribe button, spend some more time with us. Foreign exchange. Forex stands for foreign exchange markets. It's the largest market in the world. There's over between $5 and $7 trillion traded a day in the foreign exchange market. It is the most efficient and best market in the world. It dwarfs the equity markets in the U.S. Mr. K, big shout out. That's right. Dylan, I mean, personal preference over there. I would think anyone holding on to over $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, it makes sense to go invest, whatever it is. I don't know if it's $50 or $70 for a hardware wallet. 100%. Rebuy silver. I mean, the first thing we looked at. Right now, you're coming down. You're testing an area. You're over here. What? This is about 8% off the off the high over here on silver, right? Any resumption off over here looks like it's an attractive place to begin positioning back into silver. Would anyone be surprised if we entered any type of consolidation now on silver, or do you think we're just going straight up? I don't think we're going straight up. I'm a little surprised we came as high as we did this week, right? But here we are. And now over here into this 26, 22 next area over here, That's a 15% pullback. Those are both attractive areas to begin looking to position yourself into silver. Silver, gold, Bitcoin, do not try to trade them. They are entering massive bull markets. You want to begin positioning yourself in. Yeah, I'll miss you all too next week. That's for sure. That's why I'll be checking in with you. I definitely am not able to make any type of predictions whatsoever. I am able, though, to go ahead and just take a look at the charts, follow the flow of the market, have a really good idea of where we are and where we're headed, and stay on the right side. Euro US dollar coming off today. Let's take a look at it. So by this white line over here, anyone who's holding the Euro US dollar, that's where you want to exit your trade. That's below this support over here. This support over here, for those of you who are new to the channel, that's a 12-year trend line going back over to 2008. That's a big deal. Why do I say that's a big deal? Anytime you get a multi-year trend line break like that, that's a big deal. That has the potential to really keep on going. Now, we are consolidating above that trend line right now. This is very, very bullish. Sorry about that. That's really bullish consolidating over here. Just like on the DXY, we're just seeing it consolidate. We're not considering that any type of reversal or breakout. Get below the support over here. And at that point, you are then looking to go ahead and, get out of the trade, get neutral, wait for a pullback, and then the resumption to get back into the trade. Right now, though, sorry about that once again. Here we are. All right. Euro US dollar, right? You have to be uber bullish here on the dollar, trading above that trend line, that multi-year breakout on the dollar, against the dollar. However, this line over here, when I say this line, I mean this one right here. If you trade below that, at that point, those that are holding, and we have some people still holding, I exited into the resistance. Anyone who's holding over here, break below this area, at that point, you want to lock in your profits, get out of the trade, and then get on the side. We've seen some big expansion on the dollar lately, right? Entering a period of consolidation. Here's on the DXY. It's the same exact thing. You're looking at the Euro US dollar. When I say same exact thing inverted, is the DXY is so heavily weighted towards the euro. You see this big trend line over here? That's the breakout you were looking at the Euro US dollar, right? That's the breakout you were looking. This technically is very bearish on the dollar. And until it makes back some massive gains, right? Trading below 95, trading below 96.40. This is technically very, 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 very bearish right now. And now we're getting the first retest of that broken important technical level. And then we're looking for the resumption back down. We're not getting into FX this morning simply because it's Friday, and there's no new positions to be had on this Friday. So when you talk about GBTC, and I'm not looking to exit GBTC until the height of the bull market, right? I don't even ever look at a chart. I don't ever log in and check the account. I'll be looking to exit that trade at the height of the bull market. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for that. So you say bias decide would I invest in silver or Bitcoin? I have over 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. If anyone saw, by the way, and look, if anyone follows Real Vision, I do. I love Real Vision. For news, I follow Twitter. I follow Zero Hedge. And I follow YouTube channel. We have Raul Powell over here. He's the founder of Real Vision. Raul Powell, except for the dollar, has been all over all of these macro moves the last 18 months, probably better than anyone else in the space. Our channel will probably be a close second. So he's saying many of us own gold to offset the dilutive effects of fiat, right? However, blah, 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 blah. So he's talking about this. Let's go to here. My conviction levels in Bitcoin rise every day. This guy comes from traditional finance. He spends his time interviewing some of the most successful people in traditional finance. And has access to them all. They all look up to him. I'm already irresponsibly long. He's positioned exactly like me. He has over 50% of his net worth in Bitcoin. I'm now thinking it may not even be worth owning any other asset as a long-term asset allocation, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm still thinking through it, right? So again, that's where I'm at. It's not for me personally. Look, I'm all about silver in this current environment. I'm more about gold in this current environment, even though I think silver outperforms. Here's the thing. Everyone's looking for inflation right now, but we're still in that deflationary environment. Inflation has not yet taken foot. Most likely the end. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. Thank you for bringing my attention back towards really something that I want to share with you. Just give me 1 second here. And I have to find, it's right here. Let me try one more page because it's really important. Is it this article? It's not. I can't find it. I really wanted to show it to you all. I'm going to try one more time. I don't want to spend too much time. This is it right here. All right. So we go to these bullet points down over here. Okay. This is the nightmare scenario. This is the nightmare scenario. Accelerating deficits and debts. Check. That's happening right now. A falling dollar and other currencies. Check. Happening right now. Unlimited money printing to save banks and a failing financial system just begun. That's just begun. That's going to continue. Then you get more printing to save failing companies. It's on its way. Ever higher subsides of furloughed and unemployed. Well, that's going to happen, and that's going to, yeah, there you go. Next one is, this is going to lead to this. Universal basic income introduced in most Western nations. Going back to the beginning of the crisis, I said the result of this crisis is going to be universal basic income. Those jobs are never, a large portion of those jobs are never coming back. We're going to need to introduce universal basic income. That means everyone's paid a basic wage, whether they work or not. This will lead to fewer people working. Higher unemployment means more printing. It's a self-fulfilling perpetual doom loop cycle. More printing leads to more currency debasement. This leads to higher velocity of money, higher inflation. Central bank lose control of rates and the bond market sells off. This one I don't think is, this one I'm unsure about. This one I need to do a lot more research. I mean, the next thing I think we're going to happen is the Fed artificially holds down the yield curve, right? We've already talked about that. So I don't know what happens here. I don't know what happens over here. But all of this, I'm on board with, right? And all this is happening, and all of this is just beginning. We're in the first innings, which is why I say anyone looking to sell gold or silver, it doesn't make sense to me, right? Bitcoin, I understand exiting at the top of the bull market cycle because Bitcoin trades in its 4-year cycle surrounded by the halving reward, which causes a bull and bear market phase. Gold and silver, right? We're just getting started over here. All these things are just just beginning to take foot. So when you ask about would I invest in gold or silver, for sure it's Bitcoin right now. Well, that's my target. That doesn't mean that I won't exit before and I won't exit after, but that's my target. 140,000 is my target. And I'll be here with you all, and I'll walk you all through it as it unfolds in real time. Mr. K, some really good, some really, really, really well researched and articulated presentations on Bitcoin are on this channel's Bitcoin playlist. Start at the top and start working your way down, and then you will understand. So no one get mad. Everyone knows that I'm a Bitcoin bull. No one get mad at me when I get bearish on Bitcoin, please. Only because, it doesn't mean that long term I don't fully embrace Bitcoin, It's not today, just hang out a second. Just hang out a second. We've gone over this, I think, 4 or 5 times during this live stream. All right. What do you do in uptrends? And even if you're an investor, the course is phenomenal. Hey, a lot of people join the course. There's 2 people who join the course. There's people who are really looking to be able to, for that consistent profitability through the markets. They're looking to generate that 20, 30% a year. And there are those who have made so much money off of the inside of the channel, just want to say thank you. Whether you're an investor or a trader, the course is going to help you. So, Matt, what do you do, right? What do you do if you exit a bit? You're looking to buy off supports. You know where your 2 supports are below you. Yeah, I always set my accounts, to 200 to 1 leverage, and I use a fraction of it. Yeah, the Euro Canadian dollar, we were tracking, a lot of you all were tracking this Euro Canadian dollar. Let's check out what's happening today on it. As soon as I could, it froze over here a second. In my opinion, that's personal preference. Anyone holding over $1,000 of Bitcoin should use a hardware wallet. Anyone looking to get a hardware wallet, there is a link in the description below. Euro Canadian dollar, I want to pull up here. All right. So my thoughts on scalping are pretty simple. So the amount of people who are able to make a living scalping is extraordinarily low. I would put it at about 3%. 3% of let's say seasoned traders could do it. It's very, very. It takes up all of your time. It takes an enormous degree of constant focus, and it's really difficult. If you're a scalper, you should be trading the E-mini futures. That's the market to trade. Definitely do not try that in Forex or cryptocurrency. That's the E-mini futures, and I don't think you should do it. I think you should go where you could have a high quality of life. That's why I trade on the 8-hour time frame. It's the easiest to do, and it affords me to be able to have a life. William J. O'Neill, thank you. Why did I say Bill Williams? William J. O'Neill, can't slim. Anyone looking, anyone attracted to the equity markets and investing, I highly recommend studying can slim. Not really, right? So a little bit of perspective. We could go back just a couple of weeks. So, by the way, let's go back right here to the breakout. This was July the 20th. Since then, silver is up 54%. This morning, you're seeing silver pull back right now 8%. So not really a big pullback. So I don't have any thoughts on Cardano except for the fact that they got a pretty decent user base behind it. There's a lot of people attracted to it. I'm sure it's going to do fantastic in the alt season, for sure. In the long term, whether or not it's still here or not, I have no idea. I think so. All right, that's exciting. I don't think you should trade Bitcoin with leverage, Joshua. I don't think you should trade Bitcoin with leverage. You could use so many different. A quick search will help you out there, but I don't think you should do that. A lot of people in the U.S. could use Coinbase Pro. Have a beautiful weekend. Nothing goes straight up or straight down. Do not try to trade these things. I've been very, very consistent that in Bitcoin, gold, and silver, you should not be looking to trade. I don't know anything about it, and I wouldn't do it. I do know that Bitcoin mining is a highly competitive industry. You need to have not only the lowest cost of energy, but the highest tech as well. And, miners don't stay around too long. Whoever's in control, today usually is not in control tomorrow. And whoever was in control 2 years ago is not in control today. And whoever was in control 4 years ago, it's a highly competitive industry. Again, whether you're talking about gold miners or Bitcoin miners, I would stay away. No, I'm neutral. Ed, we got neutral now. Neutral. It's the risk to reward is no longer there. Here's the time to exit and get neutral. That's all right, Aaron. I'm just happy to share the time with you all. I don't think we're going to have any type of dollar crash, right? I don't think we're going to have any type of dollar crash. Now we're going to has a new trend begun? It definitely appears so. Remember, I was a big dollar bull until this trend line broke over here. Once we broke over here, I became a dollar bear. We're just going to follow what's happening on the charts. We've already seen a big move on the dollar, and that's not a crash. And I don't think we're going to see a crash, but we are seeing that dollar weakness definitely taking foot right now. You don't need to follow all of that nonsense. Not that I know of, though. Yeah, well, I mean, there's different advantages between Oanda and FX Choice. Anyone who's really dialed in and focused on foreign exchange, I would just stick with Oanda. Mr. K, I thought so when I'm not interested in the equity markets whatsoever, but absolutely, when we're talking about Virgin Galactic, that was directly in my head at that point. Oh, Euro Canadian dollar. So we're looking at over here, and it looks like to me a very nice cup being put in right over here. You could see the cup, and now the handle being put in. You could see the resumption off the support. Whether it is a cup, and handle now forming, for this to be successful, that was the entry off of the support. For this to be successful, now obviously you got to break the lip of the cup, and if that does, this thing will get going. By the way, if you still have an entry up here, right? But the first entry is down over there now. It does very much look like a cup and handle to me. Yeah, a lot of people use Cash App. Yeah, long-term investors, 7 to 15% pullback on silver. Could anyone picture silver next year? Maybe even this year? Could anyone picture silver trading at $35? I could picture silver trading at $35 very easy. It's our next price target after we take out $29.50. And I do think that it's going to happen. And I do think that we're going to be eventually taking a run at $50, right? So is 27 dollar silver attractive. Depends on your time preference, you know. But yeah, you know, it's just so clear. Any 7 to 15% pullback on silver is an opportunity to look for a resumption out and entry. Lucas, if I was sitting on 100% cash right now and wanted to start an investment position, the I would just simply spend the next 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is all you would need. Watching some videos on this channel, and you will know exactly what you should do. I think that any investment that anyone makes, they should know and fully understand why they're making it, because you have to be comfortable with. If you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to hold it. So it's really essential as an investor, you understand the investment that you're making, why you're making it. And I do suggest that, Lucas. For real, just start spending some time with us. And I'm like, there's no FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out. There's nothing that you need to do today. What you need to do today is just work on a little bit more of education. And I think this is absolutely the best. Just go, Lucas, go to the last video, the last 2 videos uploaded on the YouTube channel in the afternoon, and read those comments, and you will see the amount of people who are positioned correctly and on the right side of the market. But I want you to do that for yourself. Right. That's why, right now inside retirement account, I'm invested inside GBTC. Max, morning. Thank you so much. I prefer Trezor over the Ledger, right? And Cold Card is another option that's recommended. I prefer Trezor. Ledger just had a hack. I forgot how many millions of people's information was hacked. They're storing user data. Not a good idea. I don't like that. Trezor deletes all user data after 90 days. I mean, Bitcoin's off 1%. That's not even a fluctuation on Bitcoin, by the way, right? When Bitcoin's off 10%, then okay, Bitcoin's off a little bit. Ooh. Yeah, we've done that probably 20 times today in the live stream. I know we have no matcha on the holiday or good coffee, but that's okay. Yeah, Blue Bottle opened up in Tokyo, right? Tokyo is like there are places for coffee in the world, Japan being one of them, right? Then you have, obviously starting in Washington, Seattle, and then that's why the coffee culture in the Northwest is so big. That all came out of Seattle. I don't know. I do not know. Yeah, it seems like every certain amount of years, airlines are always going bankrupt, doesn't it? Thank you so much. Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wish. Yeah, beautiful, Mar. I'd like to hear that. I look forward so much to next year with all of you, knowing everyone's gonna be so well positioned and seeing everyone thriving. Ooh, Aussie Bruins. I'm not familiar with the Aussie Bruins. Of course, I'm familiar with the Boston Bruins, but that's pretty cool. Is that a rugby team? So when you talk about staking stable coins, what stable coin offers 12% interest? Is that done through some like DeFi option over there? Excuse me 1 second. Oh, I think we zoomed out a little bit. When we're talking about I don't know what stablecoin pays 12%. That might be through some type of DeFi platform, which is, has a whole bunch of risks in themselves, right? That's really, you're taking a risk if you're using that. There's no question about that. On a stable coin right now, you could get on BlockFi 8.6% interest, which is fantastic. But do I think it's better being invested in a stable coin right now or Bitcoin? I believe it is much more prudent to be invested into Bitcoin than it is a stable coin. Yeah, Nick, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Chris. Right. So, Brian, I don't think that gap gets filled. I give it about a 30% chance that it does get filled. It's quite possible. I'm definitely, I don't think gap trading is any type of strategy whatsoever. It's not. If you go back on Amazon, you will see plenty of gaps that have never been filled, and people, anyone trying to trade a gap like that, that's not a good idea. But here it is. Let me show it. There's the gap on the CME. It's a big one, right? Is that gap going to get filled? That gap, more importantly, also happens to be, right? This happens to be, let me get a better. I'm trying to keep my hands steady, right? That gap also happens to be the breakout of the bull market. That happened over the weekend. It's the breakout of the bull market. Is it possible this trend line that set off the bull market is retested? Yeah, for sure. Does it look like it's going to happen? No, it does not. I do not think it happens. But of course it can. Of course it can. There's no question about it. Not really. The DXY is just consolidating, right? Everyone knows that this is what we're expecting. That's awesome. Listen, I'm going to share my view with you, right? Bitcoin is off 1%. That's not even a fluctuation on Bitcoin. Look, when an asset such as the best performing asset in the past decade is Bitcoin, not even close to anything else. The best asset over the past year is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, in order to do what it's doing, and that's taking over market cap, right? It's going to be volatile. A 1% move on Bitcoin is not even like a blip, right? If you want to ride out the hardest bull to ride in the world is the Bitcoin bull. That's why I'm trying to get everyone away from trading it and just holding it. Can we see a pullback to gold all the way back to towards the 2000? So we got some nice support over here. That's a nice area of support. That's coming in a little lower at 1980. You're throwing at I don't really see anything at 2000, right? But what I do see, and I think the best way to position yourself during the bull market is any 3, right? That's right around your number. Or a 5. It's almost 5 into the support. If you get a 3 to 5% pullback on gold, that's where you're looking during the bull market. The gold is going much higher this next year, in my opinion. No, I've not added to a gold position in a long time. I bought my physical gold and silver a long time ago, and I'm more interested right now in Bitcoin. Right, I continue to accumulate Bitcoin on a weekly basis, and just will continue doing that until Bitcoin surpasses 20 or 30,000, and then I'll just be holding at that point. But when I exit my Bitcoin position, at that point we'll figure out what's going on in the world, because things will look much different. Maybe at that point, a large portion of that money is going into gold, and maybe a large portion of that money will be held in a stable coin collecting 8.6% interest on BlockFi. Yeah, that's completely reckless. If your account got blown, then you should really not be trading, and you should just spend a lot of time investing into your education. Maybe someone knows. I mean, like, listen, just like a really really well intended heads up. I'm not going to answer again anything about gold or silver on pullbacks, only because it's been repeated probably close to 30 times in the past hour. Anyone who's a subscriber and follows the channel regularly absolutely understands. And if you don't, then the best decision you can make today is really hit that subscribe button, join us. I'm happy to help you, for real. It's not only a pleasure, it's a great pleasure of mine to help as many people as possible. Dave, thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. I really do. And thank you for really the good vibes and for the good wishes of that needed time with the family. I do. Everyone knows work ethic is so important. I always, really, really have that discipline and work hard. And, I'm really looking forward to this time with the family. And if you think we have 5 kids, 4 of them under 4 years old, that's not, I don't know what kind of vacation that is, but it's a pleasure. It's hard work, but it's a pleasure. But I'm really looking forward to a little bit of this break, as I do every August, in order to come back refreshed, because the markets, everything going on is explosive, as it has been all of 2020. Really want to be dialed in. I really want to be focused come September over here, as we really put in all that work, September, October, November, and into December, to really be in the flow of the market here and continue to really, really do well. So, right, silver performs better in reflationary, inflationary environments. Gold performs well in both. If gold performs well in both. I don't really think, I think Ray has obviously a lot of money and a great research team, but I don't think much of Ray personally. It seems to me Ray's really good at talking his book. Ray's heavily invested into China. Ray does his best to try to get other people invested into China to pick up his bags. I don't think much of Ray at all. And sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone. Hey, go span the channel and then you're just done. You're just gone. There you go. Let me find that real quick. Facebook. When is Facebook launching Libra? Once Facebook launches Libra, then it becomes very attractive. Facebook just also launched, by the way, the TikTok killer, right? Inside the US, they just cloned and launched TikTok on Instagram. Pay attention. I'm just catching up on all your comments over here. Enjoying this time well spent, because spent with all you. Luciana, I really think that a lot of people are going to get really mad when I get bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm going to be like, listen, I told you actually, 3 years, 2.5 years in advance when I was getting bearish on Bitcoin. And if you think I had anything to do with the price of Bitcoin falling, then whatever. I have absolutely nothing to do with it. I do not have that type of influence or capital. I'm just an observer here, right? But yeah, a lot of people are going to get really mad. I don't care. My job is to take care of my own. Anyone who's here with me on a regular basis is my own. I'm looking really to make sure that they know what's going on and are able to trade accordingly. And everyone else, thank you, GP. I'll miss you all very, very much. I'll be checking in with you all very much. Yeah, let me go ahead and just include that link for you. That's a good one. Let me include that link for y'all. Hey, thank you very much for that great wishes. Thank you, Hank. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be checking in with you all. Rest assured. And if anything comes up that is obviously important, if we do have any type of black swan event, I will be there. There's no question about it. The one thing that I want you all to really have in your heads here, because I'm seeing a lot of people like Bitcoin's dumping, but you know, it's not. This is Bitcoin being Bitcoin. All right, everyone, watch the levels. Just focus on the levels. You know, from the heart, and I'm going to miss my mornings with you all. But I'm looking forward to coming back super energized, super refreshed to really pass on that passion and energy to all of you and keep us going over here. Yeah. Yeah, we have our Telegram group, part of the Conquering the Markets. There's a link to the course below if you are interested. Nothing's going to derail gold. Nothing is going to derail gold in this environment right here. Thank you, Reza. May God bless you too. Thank you. Thank you for your prayers, everybody. J May, that's awesome. Thank you, Mart. John, I know I'm going to miss you all so much, but, you know, it's nice looking forward to things, and I look forward, you know, as we get back going together. Thank you, Chris. Bali, beautiful. Miguel, same here. Thank you, Max. Oh, I'm always following the flow. I love it. Thank you, Thomas. Jimmy, this is the comment with me of the day so far that I'm going to cherish. When I see people succeeding and doing well, I take great pleasure in it, right? The true happiness is building up the people around you, right? So I'm really happy to hear that very much. Beautiful comment, Monkey Mark. Thank you very much. That's right. That's right. Do your own research. This is just a guide to help you do your own analysis. So this song, by the way, is on artist.io, and it's called Honeymoon. If you go like this for you, I'll give you a direct link. I can't even post it. Oh, there we go. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll see you all soon. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you for all being here. By the way, I read every single comment. When you guys post the comments on YouTube, I read every single one of them. And they all, I take them all to heart. Everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful couple of weeks. I'll be checking in. From time to time. I have this you won't hear from me on Monday, and you won't hear from me on the 18th. Every other day, I'm sure, one way or another, I'm going to find a way to check in, especially if anything worthwhile, worth your importance is, by the way, we need t-shirt logos and designs for Jesse. If anyone has any ideas for conquering trading, the investing, t-shirts and logos, please send them my way. I really, really, really want to get that going. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you later.